Hi, it's Ronnie, and I thought I'd play along with scraps to embellishment. I love making embellishments anyway, and this week's theme is vintage games. And I played jacks when I was little, and it's definitely vintage. And that is by Carta Bella. And you see my hands moving? That's because I talked first. However, it's kind of warm in there, so I had the fan going on high, and it was very, very loud and a nuisance when I was playing it back. So I decided to do a voiceover. I picked those scraps out to use, however, I'm going to pull some other ones, and I am not going to use that shiny one. I thought I was, but see it, I just didn't care for it after I cut it out. So I turned around and cut some out in the pewter color. It's metallic too, but it's more of a pewter. And I liked it a lot better because it reminded me more of the jacks that I played with when I was a kid. I the has little round balls on the ends. And so I thought I'd use my stylus, and I'm using the smaller one on the smaller circles and the larger one, of course, on the larger one. And that pad is from close to my heart, and it's really soft compared to the one you see there on the right that I used to cut those ovals out. But they're really good for using a stylus on. And it's kind of on the worn out side, but I've had it a very long time. So that added a little bit of dimension to my jacks, but no bulk, because this is for the weekly swap on Ginger's Corner on Facebook, which y'all need to check out for sure, because there are plenty of swaps, challenges, giveaways, all kinds of stuff. And here, this is not going to look like it looked in my mind when I get done. After I got done with the video and started looking at it, doing the voiceover, I stopped a while ago and added a little line with my stylus, thinking that'd help. I don't think it did at all. Here I'm trying to decide how to cut this. I knew there was one part that was really uneven, and so I wanted to cut it off so the whole thing would be rectangular. And I'm trying to decide how I want it there. However, like I said, it's not going to look like a box. That's my intention, but it does not work. I will go with it though, because I couldn't think of anything else. My first plan was to put it on a tag. I should have probably stuck with that. I am trying to figure out how I want to cut this to make it look like what it's looking in my head, but like I said, it don't. Uh, I'm using the same oval that I used on those two circles. One, the yellow one, I cut with the red, which I'm using right now. And then the other one, the red one, I cut with the green. My green looks blue because it got kind of wonky and weak and wimpy and all that stuff. And so I have to switch out the blue so that it'll actually stay on there and not slide over the top of the whole blade thing. I am trimming this off to fit my oval that I did there. Um, that part I think might be okay, that part. It's the other parts that doesn't work out as good. But it is for me. So by the time it actually makes it on a layout, I might have the whole style changed on it. Um, the red there, it's pretty thin and it's all I got, so I'm trying to make sure I have enough to use for this. Uh, it's like got a lighter red on one side and a darker red on the other side. I am pretty sure it came in a paper pad. And so I'm looking on this and trying to figure out how I can get the most out of here and still save as much as I can, knowing if I need it for something else, that I've still got a little bit that I can work with. And I just cut that. And the thing is, when I get done, the more I look at it, the more I think it looks like an envelope instead of a box. That's why it was a failure, because it looks like an envelope and not a box. But like I said, I'm going with it anyhow. Uh, I'm still thinking there. I'm thinking something's wrong, but what is wrong? I am cutting just straight up, and I'm not worrying about it being perfect because it's going to go behind that other piece of paper. And I'm like, see, I'm just going to lay it on top of it. And I'm trying to decide which side there. You would think the side would be up that I'd want to use since that's what I used as a guide to cut that. And I'm going to put this glue on here and think, oh, that's too quick to the draw. I need to do something else first. All my challenges are not edited out on this video. I am doing it real time, even though it does have a voiceover. And there's where I realized that I needed something else. And for the life of me, I can't think of what it is. Oh yeah, it was inking. I thought I needed to ink it before I put it together. So we'll have to put some more ink, glue on there. And the ink, I thought I'd use just the ink that was on the little pad, but it gets worse not inking anything. And so I will pull out the ink pad and ink it up a little bit. And I think it's because I inked so much. The whole idea was just to ink that first little oval part, but then I wanted more. So I added more. And it's just going to go right back on there. I um, I don't think it was a red that was on there to start with, so when I do add a little more ink, it's going to be terracotta. I figured since I was inking the dot part too, and the red, that I'd use a color that kind of went in between the two colors. And you see there, I did not cut that straight, and I had to fix it because the other part is cut straight. I used my paper cutter with it. Now, I was sitting there looking at my paper and thinking the corners were a bit too sharp. And so I thought I'd get my corner rounder there and use the 1/8 inch. Then I thought, well, I'll dress it up just a wee bit and add a strip there. I think my paper was a little crooked at the top because both times it ended up, I cut it twice. Both times it ended up kind of wonky. One was thicker than the other, and I just went ahead and went with the best looking one to put on the bottom. I didn't think it'd be too noticeable. Now, even though our jacks when I was little came in like a little box thing, it was like a circle or an oval. I was thinking oval, um, and then it had a lid. Well, they were cardboard. They didn't last long. So my mom would make us little drawstring bags to put our jacks and our marbles in. I played jacks a lot. Marbles wasn't my thing, but my sister loved them. And she still has her marbles. I don't. And collects them. So, like, for not this last birthday that was like a few days ago, but the one before, I got her some vintage marbles that was like 1913. Still in the package off of eBay for her birthday present, and she was just so excited to get them. I am putting just a little bit of glue on this, and I didn't go all the way down because I knew it wouldn't go all the way across, but I'm going to add it to the bottom because I was thinking the little boxes that we got had like a little piece of cardboard on the bottom, to seal the bottom part to it probably, but it's going to get cut off, and then I'm going to let it dry because you know how liquid glue is, and you use a corner rounder on it, and it just doesn't cut very well. It kind of chews it instead of cutting it smoothly. So I thought I'd make sure it was dry and then do it. So I'm going to do something else. Not that I remember what the something else was, waiting on it to dry. Oh, I thought I'd put these two together. I am inking them both in the same color. Like I said, it's terracotta. Well, I got them both inked there, and I'm just going to add one on top of the other so it looks like one is like a rim around there. And then I'm gonna cut out a smaller one. I thought I cut the smaller one out to match the bottom of my not so good box. And I'm just using the center part of the one I was already using. Look up there to your left. Doesn't that look like an envelope? Oh, I don't know why I didn't notice that when I was doing that part. I didn't notice it till later, but yeah. I I'm trying to use the least amount of paper here because I am getting low on it too, and I thought, well, maybe I want it for something else. I might still have a 12 by 12 piece of paper, but I'm using scraps, so I can't break into that. Oh, I'm inking it in the terracotta also. I'm going to put my, well, I started to say title, but I don't guess it'd be title. Description of what's in the box on top of it, which is going to just be Jack's. I know they say Jack and Ball a lot, but we called it Jack's when I was little and nothing else. And so that's what I'm going to do on my lid here. Here is that little die that I have misplaced before, but I did put double-sided tape on the back before I cut them out so that all I had to do was take them off and stick them on wherever. It is sitting there to the left and I planned on showing it to y'all, but I forgot. I'm trying to figure out how to do my lid there. I thought I'd kind of tuck it in. I only put glue on the sides of the little, should I call it envelope? And so I could do some tucking in there, but I was trying to decide how. I know it has, if it's going for a swap, that it has to fit in a business envelope. And I knew it would if I don't stick it in. So I tested it with an envelope, which I'm going to get in just a second. Well, it might be a minute because it looks like I went ahead and decided to work on the ball. I could not find my star. I will give up eventually and use a punch instead. But I put the lid in there like it would just be sitting in a box, however. Looks like it's sitting in an envelope. And I'm starting to put those on there because I thought, well, I'm going to put it together. And then I remembered it has to go in a long envelope. Well, business envelope. And I'm just showing that it will fit in there and four will fit easily. But this is for me. I wouldn't want to send it to anybody. But I am putting the jacks on there how I was thinking I was wanting them. And then I thought, no, I better put the lid in there first. And then I can add the jacks. And so I'm going to put them in there and I make a silly mistake right there. I put the adhesive on the top and I'm going to put the jacks there in front. So I'm going to have a little bit of problem. Y'all tell there was no planning ahead on this. I did not know about this till I seen the videos. They came popping up there on YouTube and got thinking about it and thought, well, I can go ahead and do one for this week, even though I was totally not prepared. But that's okay. I was looking at my jacks there and I got to thinking that I don't think I shared that one jack is bigger than the other. So I'm just showing here that one is bigger than the other and I only use a smaller one. Now, my sister and I did not have that many photos taken of us when we were little. But I've been doing in the Smash Book stories of when I was little and putting sometimes a picture that has nothing to do with what I'm putting on there or no picture at all. So I was thinking I would do a scrapbook page with the jacks ever since I got the jacks, probably 3 years ago. But of me and my sister because we played them so much. Well, I started to lay that, well, I did lay that jack there, but I didn't glue it down. Yeah, I thought I think I want the ball to go there instead of a jack. So I thought I'd go back to it. And yeah, I started thinking after watching the video, it could have stuck to something that I have adhesive to. That if I turn that over, I might find it. But yeah, I just end up punching one out. It's a little bigger, but it works. Now, the die set shows a blue ball, but when I was growing up, it's always red. I don't remember any other color when I was little. So I went ahead and made it red, but there was a scrap of like, well, I think it was like a squiggly line, blue on blue, and I thought I'd use it for the center, and it helps it show up more dimensional because it shows like a curve in that. And so it's a really good thing to put on there, especially for die cuts, to make them more look more 3D. I cut it out with one of the scrap pieces um, where I cut out of the envelope or box, whatever it is. But I am just going to glue it right on top in the center. And I did like the dark blue though that I had cut. However, that is very thick cardstock. I got it off of Amazon from a company called Lux, Lux, and some of their cardstock is really heavy. So punches do not work very well on it. Now, I am not sure what I've got my hand going there for, but I talk with my hands, so yeah, I I'm sure you will see even more. Right at the beginning, I think I did it worse, and then I got a little better at not doing it. I am just gonna lay that last. That is an even number, but I figure I got odd numbers on the top, and that kind of looks like a decoration on the box down there. So I figured it was okay. I cut it out just to test it with the stylus, and then I just hated not to use it. Well, here I am looking at it, trying to think if I could do something else to make it look more right in my head, but I don't come up with anything else right then. After I come in here and was looking at it on the video, I do come up with one way, but it didn't work so well either. But make sure you check out the links down there below for everybody else that is joining in on the Scraps to Embellishments. And check out the Facebook group. It is Ginger's Corner, and they have challenges and giveaways and lots of fun over there in that group. And if you like to swap embellishments, that is definitely the place to go. They have one every week, and they also have a big one once a month. But there's my completed embellishment. And if you can look real close, I can't know if you can tell or not. I took the stylus and drew a line like you can see the bottom of the box and see where it bent upward. And then I thought, well, maybe I ought to ink it. It'll show up better. So I inked it, and all it did was look like an ink blotch. So that did not work better. But there's my completed embellishment, and I did have a lot of fun making it. And I always have fun when I make mistakes. I have to laugh at myself. But I hope y'all have a happy, scrappy week. Have fun on the hop, if in case you're behind like I am. Bye.